Sure. Now, Fashion Day on Children's...
It's a play bus! But where does it go? Where does it stop? What's for the sign of the lollipop? Stop! It's a patch stop. It's Peggy Patch.
Peggy Patch is out today to find a patch to stop and play. Where will it be? Who will she meet? Has Peggy stopped at the end of your street? Can you guess where Peggy has stopped today? I'll give you some clues. It's a place where boats tie up. Sometimes muddy, sometimes covered in seawater. Where you can smell the sea air. Can you guess where it is? She's beside the sea. She's on the salt marshes. They're called that because at high tide, the whole of the area is covered in seawater. But at low tide, it's very muddy. It leaves patches of salt behind. Peggy wants to take a look round. Why not go with her? Collected some salty seawater to do an experiment. You can't actually see the salt in the water, but you know it's there because you can taste it. Things float easier on it, and if you get it in a cut, it stings. In olden days, people used to make salt by heating up seawater until all the water disappeared and just salt was left. I wonder if this experiment will work. How much salt do you think we're going to make? At high tide, all this area will be covered in seawater. Might even cover our experiment. At the moment, the boats are in the mud, but they'll soon be bobbing about in the water. Can you hear the sound of the ropes banging against the mast? The boardwalks are covered in mesh. That's to stop people slipping if they get wet or muddy. And in really high tide, even the path gets covered with seawater. Come on, Daisy. Oh, look, there's the lightship. That's moored at the shore at the moment, but it used to be out at sea guiding the ships. A bit like a lighthouse. There are lots of flowers on the marshes, and they have to like the seawater because they stay open even under the high tide. What are these? Got my book here. They're called sea pinks. That must be because they're pink. Oh, what are these? There's lots of these. Let me see. It's scurvy grass, and it's called that because in olden days sailors used to eat it to stop them getting the illness called scurvy. Oh, look! It's a dead crab. Must have been washed in by the tide. There's lots of them. Oh, this pit looks as though it's been specially dug. I wonder what it's for. Peggy's friend Lennox is the fisherman. Bet he knows.
These pits for keeping the saleable oysters in. You catch them on the boat, then you bring them here and put them in here ready for sale. We know where they are in the grounds and we catch them with the oyster dredge. You catch about 7 or 8 at a time, you know, with the dredge. An oyster takes 7 years to grow from a spat to an oyster, sale of an oyster. When you get the spout, that's the little tiny ones like tallow drops off a candle. The small ones we put in pits in the winter time to stop them from freezing, because in the shallow water they grow faster.
Peggy Patch is fishing for a creature to say hello to. Say hello to this creature. A creature with waving arms, an armoured body, no head, and feet like tubes. It's a starfish. Have you caught one, Peggy? Oh, yes, you have. Let's fish it out. Oh, look at that. How many arms has it got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But where are the starfish's eyes? It hasn't got any. But the end of its arm is very sensitive, so it can feel its way along the seabed. There's something very special about starfish. If they lose one of their arms, they can grow another one. But fishermen don't like starfish because they eat the oysters and other shellfish, and they used to chop them up and then throw them back in the sea. But the starfish used to grow back again. I'll put it back. Off you go. Peggy's got a really special starfish in here. It's called a sunstar. How many arms has it got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. What's happening in your peg book, Peggy Patch?
Down on Broome Common, there's someone very bright. When people make a mess of things, he always puts it right. His plans are most ingenious, they cause a good few shocks. Who is it? Fernando the Fox.
Fernando the Fox was curled up, asleep in his den under the common. Suddenly, he was jolted awake by a thud, which made the walls of his den shake. "Earthquake!" he cried. Then he thought, "Can't be. We don't have earthquakes on Broome Common." Cautiously, he paced to the mouth of his den to investigate. When he looked out, instead of the sky above and bushes all around, there was darkness. And when he tried to get out, he hit his head. Ouch! This is ridiculous. Fernando the Fox, famous for my brilliant ideas, my cunning plans. Fernando, the cleverest, brainiest animal on the common, and I can't get out of my own den? What about underneath? 1, 2, 3, wriggle! And with one enormous wriggle and a few scratches, he squirmed out. Now he could see what had happened. An armchair? The cheek of it! It's bad enough getting sweet paper stuck on my paws, but a molting old armchair dumped right across my den? "I saw him!" shrieked Jerry the Jay. "I got his car number, TCP 123. Clever old me." "Then fly after him and find out where he lives," Fernando replied, licking bits of armchair stuffing off his coat. With a flap of his wings, Jerry was away, and in no time was back again, squawking, 3 Penn Street! 3 Penn Street! 3 Penn Street! "What are we going to do?" he asked. "Steal his windscreen wipers? Scratch his paintwork?" "That won't get this thing off my den," Fernando replied. "What then?" asked Jerry. "If you stop shrieking for a moment, I'll tell you." That night, a shadowy figure sat in the bushes opposite Penn Street, invisible except for 2 glowing eyes fixed on the door of number 3. Jerry, who could never keep still, stirred on his perch in a tree above. "Quiet," whispered Fernando. "He's coming." "I can't hear anything." "You shriek so much you're half deaf. I can hear if a mouse so much as twitches its whiskers." Before Jerry could reply, the door opened and a man came out and set off down the road. Silent as a shadow, Fernando stalked him. When they came to the edge of the common, he pounced, growling and snapping at the man's legs. "Help!" the man screamed. "A ravening wolf!" He ran, Fernando at his heels. And when he tried to turn back, Jerry swooped down to head him off, and together they drove him across the common. He stumbled on clumps of grass, scratched his face and hands on bramble thorns, but still they drove him on until he fell headlong into his own armchair. He fell with such force, the chair toppled over on top of him. "Saved," the man panted. "This will keep those wild animals off." He spent a long, uncomfortable night, squeezed into a tight ball to keep every bit of himself safely under the chair. Only when morning came and he heard heavy footsteps did he dare to crawl out. He found himself looking at P.C. Lloyd, who always walked across the common when he came on duty. "Good morning, sir," he said. "May I ask, is this your armchair?" "Good gracious, how amazing. Yes, now that I see it, it is. And are you aware that there is a penalty for dumping?" "But I was being chased by a ravening wolf and a screeching eagle, and the chair saved me." "Very interesting story, sir," replied P.C. Lloyd. "I think you'd better come and tell it to the sergeant at the police station after you have removed this chair from the common. I'll come with you, just in case you should run into any more wild animals." Fernando and Jerry watched the man stagger off under the weight of his chair, closely followed by P.C. Lloyd. "Did you know the policeman would come along?" Jerry asked. Fernando grinned. "Those thumping great feet of his wake me up every morning, just as I'm dozing off after a night's hunting. And talking of dozing, that's just what I'm going to do. Right now."
Do you know what I've got in here?
Salt. Salt, ice, sugar, salt.
It is, it's salt. So if there's all this salt here, there should be lots of salt on the ground, shouldn't there, really? Because the tide comes right over here. But what else is there lots of around here? It's what's all squishy.
Mud.
Yes, mud. So
Moss.
should we go off and see if we can find some mud? Because what are you going to do in the mud?
Find some animals.
Yes, going to go dredging, aren't you? So come on then, get your buckets and we'll go off. We'll go off that way. All right then. Mud hunt. Mud hunt. Mud hunt. Everyone's off on a mud hunt. What makes mud? Water with earth or sand. Where's it found? Anywhere on the land. Mud hunt. Mud hunt. Mud hunt. Everyone's off on a mud hunt. Sun can make it hard and brown. Soon gets sloshy when the rain comes down. Mud hunt. Mud hunt. Mud hunt.
Mud this time. We ain't found that place we had just yet, have we? Something in there. You gotta go down a little further, I reckon. There's something in there.
There's a crab! A real crab, look!
There's another baby crab. Look at that
Look,
baby
there's a
crab.
crab!
Oh, wow.
There's a starfish.
Wow, that.
That's a brittle star.
Who wants this one?
Look,
I think we'll put this one in the one with the
Look,
clean
let
water.
me shift that dredge across there out the way.
Who wants a wriggly worm?
Who wants an oyster?
You got two crabs there. No, I've got three actually.
You have to look very closely in here because there's something. There's probably lots of things hiding in the mud. Lots and lots hiding in the mud.
Gosh, you found a lot, didn't you? Something else in there, is there?
I think.
There's some seaweed. Put some bits of seaweed in for them.
So I think.
Nice green colour, that one, isn't it?
Yeah, there's some.
Ah, what's this? Oh, it's a shrimp. Oh,
Yeah.
oh. Does it spray you?
It's a big one too.
It is, isn't it? Go right into the corner. Go on, move around. Oh, they move ever so quickly, don't they?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Is that all you've got then? It looks...
Yes, a baby crab. Come back again, because I think I can
Pardon?
Could you pick out the crabs, please?
Oh, the crab.
The biggest one's
Oh.
pregnant.
There's one.
I've got a pregnant one too.
Have you? Where?
That one's a pregnant one.
How do you know?
See where he turned it over.
Oh, yes, look. That's all the babies in there, is it?
We've got some seashells. Lead around here. They might think it's the sea which has gone down. Oh yeah, look.
They might, mightn't they? Oh, we've got some more of those.
Don't you eat mine. So,
Right then, so we'll see what Tom's got.
the cell. Ooh, Mama made seaweed. Seaweed on it. Can you pick out for me, please?
What is it?
A cells of some sort.
A shell? Oh, it's a big shell, isn't it?
Just like a rock. No, it's a baby. Oh, you found the cell.
Oh,
Oh, yeah,
and
I
a
have
starfish.
I have a starfish.
You did, didn't you? It's clinging onto that shell, isn't it?
Oh, there. Mine's a big starfish. I think we should put them back now.
Peggy Patch's puzzle. Now that the tide's come in and the boats can float, who do you think likes to go for a swim? Pictures of this, pictures of that. I like your pictures, says Peggy Patch. Something you do or something you see. Why not draw it? Maybe send it to me. I've done a picture in each arm of this starfish. Sea pinks, shells, boats, crab, and don't forget the starfish. Creature with waving arms, an armoured body, no head, and feet like tubes. Oh, there's the bus bell. Come on, Peggy, climb down the mast. Peggy's off to find us another patch for next week. See you there.